Bonjour snuzzy fuzzy bitch boys sussy bakas, I'm Naz, a catastrophically large paintbrush, and I'm bored. So, I'ma make some turnip stuff. For the ones who don't know what I mean, Turnip28 is a cool little game by Max Fitzgerald about Napoleonic root worshipping bozos duking it out in a post-apocalyptic Europe now named Sist. I don't know much about the lore, but if you like fun and miniature war games you should check out Max's Patreon. I will put it in the description if I remember to. So, if you haven't skipped the video yet, let's make a snob. I always start by taking my sketchbook and putting on paper some ideas. I wanted to do something inspired by the Plague Doctor from Mad God mixed with some Mad Swamp Hag vibes. Nice beak, lot of floaty tentacles, large hat and some fun little details that will not be visible on the miniature because I suck at sculpting. For a starter I gather my materials to start making the body. Found this fun piece of wine cap I could use as an upper part of the torso, before I start twisting and measuring some solid paper clips. These will be incredibly useful for the base structure that will be there underneath the cloak. I start snipping parts to make a neck for the little guy, finding the right spot and gluing it there. After attaching a couple pieces to make a solid neck I liked, I started working on the waist, attaching a longer piece of paper clip to another piece of wine cap. It was here that I realized I has ducked up my original 25mm base idea and now had to use a 32mm one. Not a big deal, it will just make it easier to target in-game. I made the base with my classical recipe of vanilla glue and coffee mixed with some random trash, old but gold. I started bending softer paper clips to make the lower tentacles, trying to give them a bit of an organic and wiggly pose. When I had enough of them I started gluing one tentacle after the other to the lower bit until there were a balanced and satisfying number of them, just before slapping the little guy to its base. Soon after I started making the arms. I took two soft paper clips and started wrapping them around each other, trying to make them both bend. Before cutting the two in half to have the arms I checked if the length was right, just to make sure. Look at her making a little dance. Anyway, I posed the arms before gluing them, trying to make some sort of weird hierophant kind of pose, first giving the right arm a sort of sneaky bastard kind of feeling, and then giving the left one a weird staff using a cocktail stick, wrapping the two appendages I had saved as fingers around. I wanted to give them a small amulet or thing just to make the stick less boring, so I took one of those things you close sliced bread with, took off the rubbery exterior and took away the super thin metal wire inside. After I reshaped the wire to look like a pendant, I took an old Cryptek beard, if you don't have that use whatever cool tiny object you got lying around, and glued it all, not yet attaching it to the body. After this I started working on the cloak. Taking a paper towel I measured it around the guy. Then I cut a square roughly the right size and prepared a mix of vanilla glue and water. I then dipped the towel in water and placed it on the mini, placing it over the body to make the rough shape of the cloak, before getting it there a bit more precisely to fit it in all the crevices and stuff. I then attached the arms, cutting little holes in the towel to connect them directly to the body while still having the cloak shape, and having the super glue tie the cloak to the body better as well. I forgot to record it, but I did the same thing for the sleeves later. I'm stupid. After all that I took some good old green stuff and shaped it in a classic turnip beak. I didn't put much effort into it, mostly because it would be mostly covered by the hat. Once I had the rough thing I decided to use a beer cap from my crippling alcoholism to use as the hat. Quite fancy I must say. I then made the hat a bit more fancy by attaching some pieces of bread holding thingy I used for the talisman. I slapped the hat on the shelf and waited the next day to paint it. Primed the bitch with a zenithal prime and got to work on it. Now, I'm not an expert painter, in fact I paint like shit, and this video is more about the crafting than the painting, so here I'm gonna reveal the fact that I'm stealing ideas from Bill making stuff and I'll be talking about the lore of this guy. Also, you probably know Bill, But if you don't, go check that chap out. He's literally the reason why I'm still in the hobby even though I have no money for miniatures. I love his work and he's truly an inspiration for me. This is Lady Martina, great-nephew of Saint Gidrogilda of the Red Garlic, priestess of the Ascended. She's the mistress of the Sacred Ones, horribly mutated humans whose bodies have been completely mutated by the Great Red Garlic into beasts of tendril and root, horrendous creatures venerated by the cult as ascended to a greater plane of existence. Martina was the first to ascend, her body now, massive in comparison to the one of her brethren, but even though her body may be inhuman, she has retained full mental capabilities, and has been manipulating the cult more and more into her greasy grasp. The Cult of the Red Garlic is the name of the homebrew cult I run in Turnip28. I play them as either themed around the aforementioned Ascended, a greed build with lots of brutes, or as the followers of the Butcher, a pro-boss's army based on cavalry and big guys in general. In any case, the cult is a terrifying force that lurks in the marshes and bogs of Sis to feed on any human unwilling to join their faith in the Great Red Garlic. And so, here she is. On my kitchen table accompanied by her personal guard of ascended brutes. Ready to march on the battlefields of Sis and claim the land for the Great Red Garlic. Thank you all for watching. If you liked the video, please do all the bullshit everyone asks you to do during their videos. In the description you'll find the brand new Discord server, where we'll be able to chat around a bit, maybe have some little events and stuff. Also there will be my Instagram, for those of you who saw my sketchbook and were kinda interested in what I do there. Until next time. Take care.